Friday! I gotta come up with an intro. I've been thinking about a theme song or something other than just pop, here I am. I want to have like a nice little poster fade in or something, and then if I have a theme song, then I gotta have some kind of copyrighted permission. So I figured what I would do is just pick some music I like and use it until someone gives me some kind of cease and desist, and I have to pick a different music. But yeah, I definitely need an intro. I would feel more professional with an intro. But anyway, here we are, Friday night. My wife thought she'd give me a little theme song, so maybe I'll record that. Anyhow, we're doing Warhammer Online, so this is new. Not a new game, just new for me. So I haven't broadcast this one yet, so this will be the first time running this one. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's from my private collection. I tried this back. Actually, it's another game that I tried in beta testing, and then just it didn't hold my interest back then because it had a strong emphasis on player versus player. It's PvP, but it's been out for maybe 2 years now, so I'm sure that there's been quite a few changes and updates. When this came out, this was supposed to be one of the WoW killers, but it never took off, and it's barely staying alive, I think. It's been free to play to level 20 for a while. What's sad is if you go to their homepage, they rarely add any news or anything. It's like it's just kind of sitting there. So, I'm hoping maybe if you get enough folks playing it, they might make the true full conversion to free to play instead of just the first 20 levels free. This is by the same company that makes Dark Age of Camelot. So you've got a couple histories here. The online portion is Dark Age of Camelot, kind of fanfare, that EA mythic type of folk. So you have 3 realms that fight each other. Instead of just in certain specified combat zones, the PvP is kind of intermixed throughout the world, and we'll take a look at that. It's not bad. It's not like full world gank PvP fest. It's pretty organized. Public quests. It's a nice system, so we'll look at it. But the history, though, Warhammer is actually a very old franchise, going back even to the links of Dungeons and Dragons. And it is from England, Europe, I'm not quite sure, England, Great Britain, one of those places. Is the Warhammer. It used to be like the miniatures, then they have some tabletop wargaming, then they have actual role-playing games, and so this is kind of the next evolution of their role-playing. So we'll take a look at it. So old franchise, lots of lore, and they've crammed a lot of that lore into the game. So we'll play it, maybe discuss why it's not as popular as it used to be and should be, and hopefully they'll take it free to play. So right away, I've got a couple servers to choose from. So as you can see with this account, I got nothing. So we're starting from scratch, and you can kind of see how this works with me. I'm going to go ahead and just pick Badlands because that happens to be the very first server on my list here. So I'm going to pick Badlands, North America, English. And I prefer English simply because I don't speak German. Alright, English, select. Well, okay, when I say there's 3 factions, I guess maybe I'm wrong. I should change that a little bit. You have 2 sides. You've got Realm, and you have the Realm of Destruction. And within those realms, they have 3 races. And then those races kind of have a mirror race, and then when you play the game, those 2 races kind of start on a continent and they fight each other. They have a story. Like, for example, the dwarfs and the greenskins start together on kind of a shared island continent, and that's where their story PvP takes place. So that's kind of like the first war. Then you have the Empire and Chaos. They share another landmass, so that's like the 3rd section of fighting. And then you have the High Elves and Dark Elves are on their own part of the world, and they start kind of in that's like number 3 as far as the fighting. That's the 3 factions, but really there's just the Realm, the good guys, and the Realm of Destruction, the bad guys. 3 races in between. Now as you get progressively higher, then you can start intermingling dwarves and chaos and all that stuff. But when you first start, it's kind of set. Dwarfs and the orcs and empire and chaos and elves and dark elves. So then it's like, well, what kind of classes do we got? Well, you within your races, you actually have several choices, and the classes are pretty diverse. You know, they're a mix of like tank and PvP and healer, but they all have kind of like unique mechanics, and you know, they have a flavor all their own. So let's just kind of take a peek at what we got. Let's start with the realm here. Order. I guess I got to pick somebody here. So if you want, let's start with dwarves. Okay, so on the realm side, we'll start with dwarves. And then it gives you a little flavor text. Basically, they're the mountain folk, you know, like you would have in most games. They're dwarves. Alright, so let's take a peek. My wife's excited. She's plotting and planning. She's EverQuest. I'll tell you about our EverQuest 2 stuff here later at the end of the thing. But anyway, so here's dwarves. And as you can see, we've got 4 character class options for dwarves. First one here is the Ironbreaker. And really, you can just take a quick peek and you see up there, tank. Archetype is tank. So this is your typical heavy armor wielding guy. Here you've got an engineer. Ranged DPS. They make little mechanical turrets and traps and stuff like that. So ranged DPS. Right here in the back. A Slayer. These are real popular from the actual role-playing game. Dwarf Slayers, they're just like these, they're like dwarven Conan berserkers. You know, they wear little armor and they just wade right into battle with 2 weapons and just go to town. And then you've got over here Rune Priest. That's your healer right there. So that's your 4 classes. Now let's hit back. So they say dwarves aren't your thing. Let's take a look at the it's called the Empire. In the actual role-playing game and the flavor, there's lots of different types of humans. There's like Bretonnians, and you know, these guys here are kind of like you know, your typical humans. So here you've got a tank. He's a Knight of the Sun. This isn't the armor they start with, by the way. Just kind of showing you kind of what you can aspire to. And this is actually, these are iconic looks from the game. To let you know, that's how they're tying it back into the source material. This is kind of like if you look at White Dwarf publications and you go to Barnes & Noble or some bookstore and you look at Warhammer books and novels, these are the kinds of folks that you would see on the cover. So these are iconic character types. So here's the knight. That's your tank. That's what their knight looks like. I wonder if I can rotate it. No, I'd have to select them. This is what I would look like starting out. I should have done this with the dwarves. Okay, back here is the warrior priest. That's your healer. And this is what he's going to start out as. Melee, yeah, healer. Then we've got this guy here, witch hunter. Melee DPS. They're just kind of cool simply because they get a pistol and a sword. And then you've got the bright wizard. DPS. That's your wizard type. And they also got lady versions. Let me show you the lady version. So that's the lady version of the wizard. Lady version witch hunter. I did say version, not the other one. Rune priest starts out like this, and the female knight looks like that. So let's go back. Let's just let's peep the dwarves real quick, the basic dwarves. Since we're doing a full in-depth beginning here. Okay, so here's your basic Ironbreaker dwarf. There's the basic healer dwarf. There's your Slayer. Look at that little pudgy tummy. He's so cute. I'm just going to touch the screen and make him laugh. Hee! Then you have the Engineer. Wears a dress. And they even have the ladies. Or they don't have ladies. There's the ladies. Okay, that's the Engineer. Oh, they don't have a Slayer. No female Slayers. So you can't make a Buffy the Dwarven Slayer. Buffy the Vampire Dwarven Slayer. And there's the Rune Priest. Now these very much look like really short Viking chicks. Hey, if that's your thing, play a Dwarven female. Alright, next up, they're busty. Yeah, that is true. Okay, next up, the High Elves. Alright, and it's starting with the ladies of the High Elves. Here you've got the White Lion. White Lion is cool because they don't show it, but these are your two-handed weapon peoples, melee DPS, and they come with a pet. So they get a White Lion. Hey, there you go. And it's cool because a White Lion, as you level and progress, your lion will level and progress and eventually go from being just a plain white lion to having like armor and stuff. It's pretty cool looking. Nope, no tigers. My wife asked if you can have tigers. They just get a lion. And it's not like an animal tamer. You can't go out and tame stuff. You just get a white lion. Then you have the Sword Master. And there's the female Sword Master. And she does no pets, but she's got a two-handed sword, and this one's got the two-handed axe. So more aesthetic than anything. Back here is the Shadow Warrior. They call it a Shadow Warrior, but to me, this one really reminds me of like a ranger. That's how I see it. Pretty cool looking at the higher level gear. And then you've got the healer, high magic, the archmage. That's the female. And then we'll just take a quick look at the men's. Okay, that's the healer I'm on. Here's what a male sword master looks like to start. Here's the male white lion. I like that band. And then the male shadow warrior. Alright, so there's your good guys. So let's take a look at the realm of chaos then, the realm of destruction. Let's start with the orcs, the greenskins. Yeah, very, very iconic to like Warhammer lore. This is what they're like. Even in Warhammer 40k, this is what the orcs look like, except they have steampunk technology. Here it's just punk. All right, let's take a look at the greenskin, the Choppa, just your basic warrior. It's got berserk mechanic, but that's your melee DPS. Then up front, we have a squig healer. I don't quite know how they work, but it says they get squigs, so they somehow use little creatures and they herd little pets. I'm not quite sure how that works. I've never played them because it's not been my interest, but people like them. And they are a tank. Oh no, they're ranged DPS because that's their thing, is they throw these pets and the pets attack you. Then you've got your healer. Here's your Wog healer, the shaman. They're very ugly. Then right back here, the black orc. That is your tank. Look at his armor. So if you want to play an orc with a tank, that'd be it. And there's no male-female versions. And in fact, someone's telling me, at least in 40k, there's no women because they are a spore, a mold. And that spore travels the galaxy, and when it lands on planets, that spore populates. And I don't know how their backstory here is. But in Warhammer 40k, they are a parasite. So I'm not sure how they work here. But there's no females. Now we're going to move on to Chaos. Chaos, these are the make bonds and pacts with demons and whatnot to various degrees. And they are mostly the northern men. So this would be like evil Vikings. So basically here are your death metal band members. First up, we'll take a look at their Zealot. Okay, he's an evil healer, kind of creepy looking. And then you've got they're called the Chosen. I look at them. This is like a berserker type class here. And in the back, there's your evil wizard, demon summoning. And I haven't really done anything with them, so I don't know if they actually summon demons. That would actually be kind of cool. I would play that because I like pet casting, and if they can summon cool looking demon pets, I'll go with that. Let's see, the Meg says many demonic minions include discs, which I don't know, but horrors and flamers of Tzinch. That just sounds cool. I might try a flamer. And finally there's the Chosen. These are, I thought they used to have a different name, but these are your Chaos Knights right here. You know, if you look in Warhammer books, these are the armored knights. They like fuse with their armor. Their armor is their life, and they've got some of the coolest, badass looking armor ever. But they're evil, and these guys